Hey, how's it going out there, folks? Welcome back here to the end of the weekend. End of the weekend is upon us here. Got Monday coming up right around the corner tomorrow. It's about 11:48 a.m. here, still just before noon California time. September 15th, 2024 is the date. Latest activity still fairly obvious out here with a big-time earthquake swarm on the big island of Hawaii. So let's take a look here. This is where we're starting off first, where we got a magma intrusion occurring out here across the area of the Middle East Rift Zone. Now, last night we had a 4.3 earthquake, 4.4. Can't remember exactly what they downgraded it to. 4.3, it looks like. That stirred up a sequence of events here. I believe that 4.3 is a start of when this magma intrusion kicked off here across the Upper East Rift Zone. It is migrating further south here towards the Middle East Rift Zone with some indication of some strain building out here across the Lower East Rift Zone and potentially heading off towards that area that's seen the 2018 eruption there in the area southeast there in the Leilani Estates. Leilani, right? There we go. I got to pronounce that correctly. I have to. Last night it just kind of came out Lenali. I've seen a couple comments. I'm like, oh, that's right. There's a correct way to pronounce that, and definitely not Leilani. Or, yeah, it's supposed to be Leilani. Okay, anyway, let's get on past this here because we got a decent amount of earthquake activity, right? Look at that. About 165 earthquakes here on the map. Now, their latest update here, let me show you guys what they're stating. This update was put out 8 a.m. Hawaii time, fairly recent, Sunday, September 15th there. Kilauea Volcano is not erupting, and I'm not understanding this wording right here. 40 earthquakes. Now, there's a lot more than 40 earthquakes around the area. I don't know if they're just maybe picking that up around the summit area. I guess maybe that could be confined to the summit, but over towards the East Rift Zone, Middle East Rift Zone, that's when the earthquake activity really starts to ramp up here. Look at that. 280 earthquakes recorded in this area in the past 24 hours. That's a lot of earthquakes there. And more so than what's showing up on the USGS map here. They're only showing about 165 here. So let's check out the seismograph stations out here. By the way, folks, the member drawing is going to be held today at about 2 p.m. California time, so that will be 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be giving away some prizes there to the members. If you're not a member, jump on board here. You can win some cash prizes or some other cool items there. So let's go back here. I want to check out a seismograph station, see what we have. Mainly around the Middle East Rift Zone. Again, there's some indication there of it migrating further to the southeast there. Closer off to the Leilani Estates. There we go. I got it. 24 hours. There's the 4-pointer, 4.3. A short time later is when things really started to kick up here. Look at that seismograph station. Talking about hundreds of earthquakes in the hours following that 4-pointer. Now, overnight, it appears as though things have chilled out a little bit, calmed down a little bit here, but there's still a lot of earthquake activity out here, as you can see on the seismograph station. I don't think this is over yet. There's a couple different scenarios that we could be looking at. A further intrusion away from this area, maybe following some path of the 2018 eruption out here. Or we could just see a fissure event take place here across this area of the Middle East Rift Zone. This image here was put out today, 77 degrees out there. No sign of an eruption, but obviously we got a lot going on underneath the surface with this magma intrusion going on. Looks like it's further out here, a little bit further down than what we had seen before, which was positioned right about here. So migrational pattern is slowly, eventually drifting further and further out here towards the Lower East Rift Zone. When was this image put out here? Yeah, that's today's image. A little bit of a sun lens flare kicking into the camera out there. A little bit of ground fog, it looks like, or looks like what that is there. No signs of an eruption there across this area. Looking toward active flow advancing southeast. This must be an image from, or a webcam image set up from 2018. Even though it's got today's date on here, this is today's image, but the wording up here shows that this is from 2018, because there is no current flow, right? They stated here that everything, they're just seeing earthquake swarm, right? I think we would have seen a good indicator here on the map had there been an eruption, but there's nothing yet, nothing visible. So some of this wording here, as shown on the previous image, is probably a few years old, even though the image is updated out here. All right. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that, folks. It is a little interesting activity for sure. We've seen that period out here of quietness for a couple weeks, and now things are starting to roll around again. We've lost, if you look here, electronic tilt at the Kilauea Summit and East Rift Zone. We've lost the little bit of magma here. Probably about a month's worth has been displaced here in terms of the inflation. That is now further out down in this area. So obviously it kind of recharges here. If there's not a way through the surface to the crater area there, Lava Lake, then it will perform that migrational pattern here that we're seeing in our current magma intrusion right now. And that's what's taken place here in the last 16 hours or so. And got to watch it, because we do have that pattern here switching down towards the southeast, lower East Rift Zone. Helena Slump sits right about here. I don't see any signs of it advancing specifically south, but as always, we do have to keep an eye on things, right? That's a fairly decent chunk of land. A little concern there that it could get pushed off or collapse there into the ocean. But for now, a bunch of earthquake activity. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. Let me check the tilt meters out here, specifically where this earthquake activity is occurring. There should be a fairly sharp rise out here, roughly in, well, goodness, let's get rid of some of these images here, because they really block out these instruments out here. Here's one tilt meter. This is further to the west, though. Really no change on that. I'm more concerned about this area where we're seeing the intensifying earthquake activity. I don't see a tilt meter in that area. One way over here. And that, wow, that's like a huge drop there for this region. Again, there's nothing in this location, though, so, you know, about all we can do right now is keep an eye on things. Seismograph stations here over the last 12 hours, look at that. That's still a lot of activity, so it has not completely died off. Things are still on an iffy status. We'll have to see what happens here throughout the day today for the Kilauea Volcano. All right, moving out and about here across the Pacific. Anything big going on overnight? The largest magnitude earthquake out here so far today appears to be a 5.5 earthquake here across the area of the Indonesia region. About 6 o'clock this morning. So Alaska seeing a little bit of activity as well up here across the Aleutian Trench. 5.0, 106 miles deep here into this area of the Aleutian Trench. That's a fairly deep earthquake. Over the past week or so, most of the activity has been confined. Well, it looks like there's a little bit of activity back out here, but we have seen a little bit of movement out across this area of the subduction zone. But now it looks like we're starting to get a little migrational pattern drifting towards the west here along that major subduction zone area. So we'll keep an eye on that. California today, a couple earthquakes in the last hour there. Let's check to see if we got anything above 2.5. Nothing out here in Southern Cal. One earthquake today above 2.5, 2.9 up here outside of Ukiah. That is off the San Andreas Fault, in between the Macama Fault here, a little Coast Range fault out there. Seeing a little bit of movement. But aside from that, generally small microquake activity out here today with no areas of major swarming. A handful of earthquakes there near the Malibu area, Bakersfield, Ridgecrest, and in these zones here that we've been watching over the past several weeks, seeing a little bit of microquake activity, but really nothing on the uptick here yet today. But still, got to keep an eye on that. It's been somewhat elevated. And it goes through these little waves, these little patterns here, where it intensifies in various areas around the San Andreas Fault, you know, pretty much encircling it out here. And then we'll have a day or so of quietness. Rest of the country out here, fairly quiet. A couple earthquakes out here across the east. One from yesterday there, 1.3 in New Jersey, and a 2.3 this morning outside of the Niota. Hopefully that's correct. Sometimes me and my pronunciations out here can stir up a lot of comments. It just lets you know that I read all the comments. I may not respond to all the comments, but hey, I read them all. And yeah, a little 2.3 this morning, nothing big. So we've got Hawaii definitely kicking up out there. Middle America Trench here, this activity from yesterday, a couple fours and some five magnitude out there. Let's check out the earthquake 3D globe here, see what we got. Yeah, clustering going on here with another 3.5 Middle America Trench area. The Atlantic Ocean, awfully quiet, nothing going on out there. In the middle Mediterranean here, fairly quiet as well. Just some typical microquake activity across that region. Swarm of movement around that 5-pointer here today. Could see something larger. Never know. I mean, this is a hot spot of large-scale earthquake activity. And what do we have out here in the last 30 days? 4.5 and above. Quite a bit. This is what I consider the crunch zone out here, where a lot of the plates collide, subduct, and grind out here together, where it's just a major crunch zone. A lot of plate tectonic action out here, so to speak. Nothing going on here across the New Zealand area right now. Just a couple older threes, some deeper movement here from yesterday into the Tonga Trench. Aside from that, just kind of watch things today, see how everything plays out. I know we have a decent space weather event that we're expecting, G3 class storm, and it looks like late tonight, this is going to be one of those things here where you're either going to have to maybe go to bed early and get up a little bit earlier than you would for Monday morning, because the timing of this looks to be around 09 to 0 or 1200 here. This is going to be the UTC time of Monday morning, early Monday morning here. Right now, UTC time, there's a little earthquake there on Petrolia, is 9:15, about 1900. So if you think about it here, this is going to be 1900. We're right about here. So we still got 21 to 000. And then early, it's going to be like an early, super early morning time period here. Late tonight, early morning, Monday morning, when the expected brunt of that plasma cloud from that CME here recently, that X flare, is supposed to slam into the Earth and create potential G3 class storming conditions out there for the Auroras. And that could persist there through Monday night as well. This is for Monday night. And this here is for tonight. But again, it's going to be a late night event, early Monday morning. And the view line could even go a little bit further south here. Right now, that's fairly significant. Oregon, that's going to be the view line. Goodness. Down into maybe Oklahoma, or Nebraska, maybe Kansas. I don't know if it's going to make it down to Oklahoma or not. You never know. If we get the right conditions here, it's a very fast-moving, dense shot of plasma that's going to slam into the Earth here, so we'll have to watch that. And again, see if it kicks up any earthquake activity, right? Been trying to keep track of space weather events related to earthquake activity. Covered that a little bit last night. So again, tonight, here's for Monday night. We'll keep monitoring this. We'll cover this in a little bit more detail later tonight. All right, and as far as any major flares go, there's that X flare here from yesterday morning. That beautiful X flare, the 5th largest X flare this solar cycle, 4.54. Since then, just minimal C flare activity, but it is off of a sunspot here that is very capable of producing some further flaring, 3825. Let me go over here and check this out. Magnetically complex here, although there's a little sign here that is not quite as deeply complex as yesterday, so maybe a little bit of reforming. We'll have to see what happens with this sunspot. Either way, that's the culprit of many far side explosions here recently. So massive CMEs have been produced, and then tonight's Aurora event and tomorrow night's Aurora event is due to the X flare that this one produced here yesterday. So it's still got some possible further stronger flaring in its future. We'll have to keep an eye on it. It is getting into a little bit more Earth-directed view, which would, of course, provide some further enhancements of the auroras down the road if we get another CME, that is. So flare threat right now looks like it's dropped here dramatically. What was it, 25% there yesterday, 15%? 99% chance for a C flare, 15% for the X flare, M flare at 60. And they have the beta gamma delta structure still with 3825, but it's stable. Storm Prediction Center out here. Not a whole lot of severe weather. Got some thunderstorm chances out here around my neck of the woods here in Northern California. Beautiful day. 68 degrees out right now. Goodness. It's only, well, it's supposed to be about 80 tomorrow, back down into the 70s. So we haven't had cooler weather like this in a long time. We've had months here of 100-degree temperatures, so I think it's well-deserved that we get some 70s and some chances of rain out here. Marginal risk for some severe weather. Mainly, it looks like it's due to some wind and some hail threats out there across portions of the northern plains, maybe northeastern Colorado as well. A quick shout out to members out here real quick, folks. I forgot to do this last night. We are doing the member drawing today at about 2 p.m. where we'll be giving away some prizes. These are our members right now. We got about 71 members. If you haven't jumped on board, click that membership button there, join button. I'm not for sure if you can still do it on the mobile phone device or not, or if you have to actually go to a PC or a laptop, a desktop to join the channel, but jump on board. These are our longest standing members out here. Jay Fuentes 347, 27 months here on this channel. Goodness. Rob 52, 27 months as well. Robert Kozowski, 27 months. Albert Sanchez Jr., thank you very much, sir. That is a long time for a lot of our top members out here. Denny Ad, 26 months. Pamela Conley, 26 months as well. Thank you very much, sir, Pamela. Joelle Kozowski, 25 months. Nancy Kozowski, 25 months in there as well. Betty Kelly, 25 months. Purple Bullet, Hurricane Heather, and Joycelyn Burzik, all at 24 months here. We got Mike Moses, Clayton, Janice Seiler, 23 months. Timothy, coming up on 2 years. Goodness, thanks again there, Timothy. 22 months there. Laura Bonnet, 21 months. Someone at 19 months. Lucy Maker, Kathy Doan, and Linda L., all at 18 months here. Jeannie Baker, Elizabeth Warman, Amanda Little, The Dot Hacker, Geneva Freeland, MST Pear, Bitter Harvest, Robert H. Rick. All these guys above a year out here in terms of being a member on this channel. Goodness, thank you guys. I am Valentina, 11 months there. Patrick Jones, Trish M. ADHD established 19. I can't remember the rest of it, but I write it down every single drawing. 10 months here. Beth Mosier, 10 months. Sharni T, Greg Bennett, Andrew Harmsworth, 8 months there. Tony Miller. Not for sure where Tony Killer came from. Tony Miller. Big Island. How do you pronounce that? Big Island Ra? Not for sure. There's got to be something in there. 7 months. J.N. Looks like Jade Noswick right there. 6 months. Steve Fashing. Is that right? 6 months. Home. 6 months as well. Good Oak Press. 6 months. Bob Champ. Thanks for jumping on board there. 4 months. Barbara Young. Evelyn Stanley, 4 months. Terry Phillips, 4 months. Roger G, 4 months. Sue Zabor, 4 months as well. Brian Cross. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, Brian. If not, then feel free to correct me. One of our channel supporters. I appreciate that. It's a step up there from the super fan. 3 months. Vance Gardner, 3 months as well. Margaret Marr Cat. Charles Buchanan. Susan L. Conley. Is that going to be Diamond or Dimond? Feel free to message me so I can correctly do that. 2 months there. Appreciate it there, Connie. Shannon Barrett, 1 month. Elizabeth Craig, 1 month. Sharon Shepard, Lethbridge Keith, Charles Rosenbaum, Womp Life, 1 month. Me, Myself, and I, 1 month. John Pinnick, 1 month. And some of our newer members here, it looks like. Sounds Alchemy, 18 days. D. Harper, 14 days. Tim Harrison, 6 days. Paul Rutecki, 6 days. And Deborah Burrows. You can tell it's my first time pronouncing some of these members here on the video. It's been a little while since I gave a shout out here to the members, so figured I would. Goodness, trying to adjust to the cooler weather now. Seems like when we get some hotter weather and cooler weather, my kind of messes with my, I don't know why. I don't really have allergies, but kind of messing with maybe my sinuses. It could be allergies. Who knows? Maybe I'm developing them. All right, folks. So, yeah, we appreciate it there. Everyone is going to be entered into the member drawing here today at 2 o'clock. So in just a little under 2 hours today. Oh, goodness. We got Southern California kicking back up right now as I speak. 2.3 Malibu area. So this could be a sign here. Maybe we're starting to kick things back up. A couple minutes prior to that, we had that 1.7 coming in. We have that 1.7 coming into the Petrolia area. That was visible here on the seismograph station. So things may be starting to kick back up, ramp back up here across Southern California. Just stay safe. We will catch you guys out here for the member drawing in just under 2 hours. So if you're not a member, you can still jump on board. I haven't closed out the member joining today yet. We'll do that right up until the video or until the live stream when we do that member drawing here in a couple hours. So jump on board. We'll catch you guys later. Have a good one.